Well, joining us now for more from Tel Aviv is Heather Stone, chair of Democrats Abroad Israel. Heather, thanks for joining us. Because we're speaking in Israel, I just want to start. Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself credited her Jewish roots in part of what she said was a desire to pursue justice and to act as a judge. I wonder if you have any thoughts specifically on that.
Sure. She definitely thought about her Jewish roots coming from the, as she said, what's the difference between being an immigrant tailor and a Supreme Court justice? One generation. She definitely saw her Jewish immigrant roots as being a force that drove her in everything that she did. And being a child of 1933, just as Hitler came to power, she was definitely formed by the fascism that was on the rise in Europe, and the great wave of immigration, Jewish immigration, that came to the United States as a result.
Now, since you're deeply involved in this election as the chair of Democrats Abroad in Israel, I have to ask you, how much of a motivating factor do you think her passing and the battle to fill her seat is for Democrats in this race, as we have to imagine it also would be for conservative Republicans on the other side?
Well, we're definitely seeing a big uptick in voter registration and an outpouring in support for donations. Not just what's happening on the Act Blue sites in the United States, but also for Democrats abroad.
Now, I want to ask you about something we just heard the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer from New York say, that if the Republicans go ahead, try to push through a confirmation of a new justice just in the weeks before the election, nothing is off the table, including possibly expanding the court, which was once called packing the court. Now, that was a very unpopular policy pursued even by FDR at the height of his popularity in the 1930s. Do you think that would really be on the table if the Republicans go ahead and manage to confirm another justice?
Well, I think that we have to consider that anything will be on the table, because we've seen that McConnell and the Republican Party has not held back on anything. They withheld even holding a hearing on Merrick Garland when he was nominated more than 10 months before the election in 2016. And now, if they would go ahead with holding not just a hearing, but even confirmation hearings and an approval of a new justice during a lame duck session, meaning after the election and before the inauguration, that would be really pulling out all the stops and saying that they really don't care about any of this new precedent that they set for themselves in 2016. Then I think the Democrats really do have to consider doing something extraordinary.
Right. Now, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, of course, a pioneer of the women's rights movement, certainly on the legal end. Even people who disagreed with her on other issues have been honoring her on that regard. Now, her body will lie in state in the Capitol. By the way, she's going to be the first American Jew, Jewish American, to be given that honor of lying in state in the Capitol. I mean, are you surprised by the sort of outpouring, let's just not say of affection or even among Democrats, but respect that we're seeing across the political spectrum for Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
No, I'm not surprised. She's a great mind and an amazing jurist, and she has changed America. She's a great patriot, and I think that just as Justice Antonin Scalia found in her a good friend, and a great wit to battle with, and she with him. That you can see it in the way that Americans feel about her. That she has done a service for America, and people are showing their love and their care for her.
Right. Well, you know, it is said, we say in the Jewish tradition normally, when a person passes, one of the expressions we use is Baruch Dayan Emet, blessed be the righteous judge, or blessed be the true judge. That's usually meant as a reference, of course, to the Almighty. But I guess in this case, that expression is particularly appropriate also for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So we'll just say Baruch Dayan Emet on that regard. Heather Stone, Chair of Democrats Abroad in Israel, thank you for joining us on The Rundown.
Thank you.